Okay, thank you everyone for joining today, December 21st. It's 1:32, we're a little late, but this is the final Veterans Advisory Commission meeting of the year. It is very close to the holiday, but we are required by county ordinance to hold at least one meeting a month, which is why we're here today. It'll be a brief meeting. No guest speakers. We'll do a brief chair report and then get to the departmental report. And go from there. So with that, we'll move to the next slide. Any commissioners volunteer for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Jackson Kelly. We'll get to the next agenda item. Appreciate it. Okay. Stephanie, when you're ready, can you lead the roll call, please?
Joe Leal.
Present.
Patricia Jackson Kelly.
Present.
Joanna McFadden. Anthony Allman.
Present.
Chi Zato.
Present.
Alfonso Noyola.
Present.
John Gutierrez. Dennis Anderson.
Are you going to be able to come on the meeting?
I think Commissioner Jackson Kelly, if you can hear us. Yep, thank you.
Once more, Joanna McFadden.
It's a sign on now.
John Gutierrez. Dennis Anderson. Currently, there's just 5 commissioners.
Okay.
Stephanie, I just admitted John Gutierrez, so he's here.
Gutierrez. Once more for Joanna McFadden. And Dennis Anderson. Okay, Chair, you have a quorum.
Fantastic. Thank you. I appreciate that, Stephanie. We'll get to the next agenda item. Commissioners, when you've had an opportunity to review the minutes, we'll need a motion and second, and then we'll do another brief roll call to adopt the minutes. And for members of the public, you can go to our website. There's a link here in the presentation notes, and you can review past minutes. In addition, all of our meetings are on YouTube. So we'll need a motion and a second.
This is John Gutierrez from the 5th District. I motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, do we have a second?
I second.
Commissioner Jackson Kelly, thank you for the second. Stephanie, when you're ready, we'll have a roll call.
Anthony Allman.
Approved.
Joe Leal.
Approved.
Patricia Jackson Kelly.
Approved.
Chi Zato.
Approved.
Alfonso Noyola.
Approved.
And John Gutierrez.
Approved.
Commissioner McFadden's on as well.
Okay, got you down. And your vote for the minutes,
Approved.
You got 7 yes votes, Chair.
Great. The minutes are approved. We'll get on to the next item. Okay, so briefly, I start every meeting with the notice of meeting went out on December 14th at 1:59. Please check your email box. If you did not get that, we're still trying to square away the GovDelivery subscription box on the website. In the interim, you can email info@mva.lacounty.org and we'll try to get you on the distribution list. Our YouTube channel is growing. As I mentioned before, our past meetings for approximately the past 12 or 14 months are available on YouTube, along with other departmental content. 6 new subscribers from last month, so we have 50, which is great. A slight modification to the department's social media branding. You'll notice that everything is sort of transferring to @LACMVA. I noticed that there was a slight change in the Twitter handle. I think we're going to try to get everything to conform. But if you have Facebook, if you have Twitter, if you have Instagram, if you have YouTube, LACMVA, you should be able to find the department. And then one thing I wanted to note, we will be having a special meeting on January 3rd at 1:30 p.m. to discuss the LA Metro Art Project at the Westwood VA Hospital Station. The notice of meeting has not gone out yet. It is scheduled to go out, I believe, after the holiday. So just wanted to make that announcement as well. There's a few other things I wanted to discuss. During the last meeting, we received a briefing from LAHSA regarding veterans homelessness. If we can go to the next slide. And I felt like the discussion would have been a little bit more helpful looking at some of the source material. So this is the 2020 Greater LA homeless count slide specific to veterans. You notice with the red arrows, that 3,902 veterans is specific for LA County. And that's important because oftentimes when we're talking about veterans homelessness data, we need to make sure we're comparing apples and apples, oranges and oranges, so on and so forth. So if we go to the next slide, again, this is from 2020. There's 2 different data summaries. There's a data summary for the continuum of care, and there's a data summary for LA County. And you notice that the numbers are different because LA County is actually 4 continua of care. The LACOC does not include Long Beach, Pasadena, Glendale, and why am I blanking on the last one? Long Beach, Pasadena, and Glendale. Yeah, so that makes 4. So the data that you're looking at, it's important to understand which slice of the pie it's coming from. So the continuum of care does not include Long Beach, Pasadena, and Glendale, whereas the data for LA County incorporates the entirety of LA County. So again, this is for 2020. Now, if we go to the next slide, you see here for the 2022 Greater LA homeless count, the data here, if we look at the bottom, is for the continuum of care only. And that reflected a 6.1% decrease in veterans homelessness. However, if we go to the next slide, if you compare the data between what was shared in 2020 at the county level with the 2022 data at the county level, we actually did not see an increase. A decrease. We saw an increase to 3,942. So this is something that I think is important, and it's important that we discuss it in terms of, my concern, as I expressed at the last meeting, was that, is the point in time count perfect? No, it's not perfect. I think people understand that, but it's the best indicator we have. And if people believe that veterans homelessness is going down, then obviously that's going to affect people's investment decisions with regard to policy programs. And I wanted to bring this to light because I don't think the data shows that veterans homelessness is going down. Is it skyrocketing up? No, but it's definitely not going down in LA County. It might be going down in the continuum of care, but again, that doesn't include Long Beach, Pasadena, Glendale. And they operate their own point in time counts, but I assume the data for LA County incorporates the 4 different continuum of cares. So we'll go to the next slide real quick. Again, this is just comparing apples and apples, 20 versus 22, where we did see a decrease for the continuum of care. If we go to the next slide. Again, comparing apples and apples, 20 versus 22 at the county level, there was a 1% increase. And for the commissioners, I just thought the other 2 slides were significant. If we go to the next slide. This is for 2020. If we were to add up the numbers for each supervisory district, it does not equal what is being reported at the county level, which I think is problematic. And we go to the next slide. The same is true for the 2022 Greater LA homeless count. So I wanted to offer this information. This is publicly available data. It's just important to keep in mind when we're comparing, we need to be comparing apples and apples, oranges and oranges, not apples and oranges. So I hope that's helpful. Obviously, I wish this information showed that there were no veterans who are homeless, but the data is what the data is, and hopefully we could collectively advocate for programs that help solve this issue. So with that, we'll move on to the next agenda item. Unless any commissioners have anything to comment on, if we want to go back and discuss a slide, happy to do that. Okay. Hearing none, we'll move to the next agenda item. Okay. Is Andrew Lewis here from SD3? Andrew Lewis? Okay, moving on to the next speaker. Speaker number 2, Rajel Walker, are you here? Rajel Walker? Speaker number 3, Heidi Morales, are you here? Heidi Morales? Speaker number 4, Christina Rivera, are you here? Christina Rivera. Okay. Given the fact that we've had 4 people register for public comment who couldn't be here today, commissioners, with the time that we have dedicated, would you be okay to hearing if anyone from the public has a comment? Would anyone object to that?
No objections.
No objection.
No objection from John.
Okay.
No objection from Joe.
No objections.
Okay. Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak for 3 minutes? Going once? Going twice? Okay. No public comments today. I understand it's close to the holiday. I'm sure other people have things going on, but we'll move to the next agenda item. The departmental report. So Director Zenner, take it away.
All right, good afternoon, Commission and members of the public and other county departments. It's good to be with you today. I want to first start by welcoming Mr. Al Noyola to the Commission representing SD4. Mr. Noyola has been a humble public servant nearly his entire working career. Mr. Noyola began his public service enlisting in the United States Air Force right out of high school. He took advantage of opportunities to earn his bachelor's and master's degree while on active duty. Midway through his career, he earned his commission as an Air Force officer. Before his retirement, he was recognized as one of the 12 outstanding Air Force Young Healthcare Executives of the Year. His career spanned 12 years, retiring in 1999. His local government service started in 2003 after a short time in private sector. Mr. Noyola worked in a variety of positions, including Assistant Director, North Las Vegas Police Department, Nevada and Acting Director, Finance, Information Technology and Administrative Service Departments, City of North Las Vegas, Nevada. Mr. Noyola eventually became a city manager and has served in the capacity of the cities of Arvin, California, Boulder City, Nevada, and currently at Cudahy, California. So welcome, Mr. Noyola. We're glad to have you on the commission and good to see you on camera, sir. Next is we had a new supervisor get sworn in, Supervisor Lindsay Horvath of the 3rd District. She was sworn in early this month and is now in office, as well as our newly elected sheriff, Sheriff Robert Luna. He was also sworn in early this month and is now serving as sheriff. Had a opportunity to meet him on a couple occasions and look forward to working with him moving forward. Next, I want to thank the commission for all your hard work. You guys have really been doing a lot of work, did a lot of work in 2022, and I got a feeling you're just getting started. 2023 is going to be a great year. Update on the culinary arts with Trade Tech. I met with the acting president and a few other executive leaders over at Trade Tech. I brought up the culinary arts program and they are interested. However, the only thing that wasn't expected is that I didn't know this, they have a brand new culinary arts center on their campus. And currently they are not interested in doing the training at Patriotic Hall, which we're going to continue to negotiate and talk about, but that is the latest update on that. December 10th, partnered with VPN and had close to 700 active reservists and their family members here at Patriotic Hall. Our building maintenance worker who's been with us over 40 years, Chuck Jester, mentioned to me in passing that he hasn't seen anything like this in the hall for the last 20 years. It was a great event. Calvet, among probably close to 20, 30 other providers, were giving out information, engaging with reservists and their family members. There was a lot of entertainment. Really want to thank Joe Leal, who really owned that event. Commissioner, outstanding job, and really appreciate you owning, not just the safety, but also the cleanliness. Our staff really appreciated your effort and your work. So thank you. Also, the new city mayor, Karen Bass, came to the board of supervisor meetings and addressed the board, and the board unanimously supports Mayor Bass's declaration of emergency around homelessness in the city. So if you hadn't heard about that was yesterday, and is a big development around homelessness. So I'm sure a lot of great work is going to come shortly on that. There's a new VA homeless hotline. This is a hotline that's available from 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. It is being advertised as a same-day service for VA homelessness out of Greater Los Angeles, VA. The phone number is 310-268-3350. It looks in the press release, it mentions Volunteers of America and PATH being their contract providers that are running that line in partnership with VA staff. So that is a very big deal. I'm working on getting some social media material from them so we can help them kick that information out to the public. So we're looking at reconfiguring our lobby. Currently, when you walk in, as everybody knows, you come in the side door and you're greeted by security, and then security generally is directing people the best they can to where they need to go in the building. If you bear with me real quick, I'm going to go ahead and share this mock diagram for your consideration of how we're looking to reconfigure. So this is what we're looking at right now. This is what we've come up with. I've wanted to share this with the commission to get thoughts, but this is currently what we're looking at. Closing off the side door. If you can see this cursor, this is the side door. So people will continue to be able to use the parking lot. And instead of using the side door, unless if they have ADA considerations or their employees, they would use the front door, come in. This top part right here would be a concierge desk where we'd have staff greeting everybody that comes in. To the right here, right after this pillar, the first pillar on the right, that's where the security officer would be, and the metal detector. So you'd walk in, you go through security screening, and then you'd be greeted by staff here at Patriotic Hall, who would provide more of a concierge service, a warm, friendly start to getting whatever services they need in the building. This is something that we will share with the commission after this meeting, but I just wanted to pull that up and give everybody a look into kind of where we're at and redesigning the lobby and kind of the flow of the building. Also, I wanted to announce that Mr. George Dixon was promoted. He is, as of January 2nd, he is going down to run Orange County Veteran Service Office for our neighboring county down south. So George, if you haven't had a chance to meet him, George has been doing this work for over 25 years. He is by far the biggest expert that I think I've met in benefits, as well as the lead state trainer for CDVA or CalVet Training Institute. So definitely wish George the best. He assured us that he's not going far, and he's looking forward to continuing to work with the department to really, start bringing our counties closer together and helping across county lines. So definitely a big deal. And if you see George, please make sure to congratulate him. Next, we did a marketing campaign that started in May. I'm going to go ahead and pull up those slides real quick and run through those. But we started that campaign in May. It involved some radio buys, some TV buys, really to get the word out about the department and the services that we provide, as well as various issues of that surround veterans. Sorry, I'm looking for this here real quick, and of course, it's not coming up for me. My apologies. I'm trying to get this thing to work here. There we go. So marketing objective, we really set off to reach as many military veterans between the ages of 24 and 45 in LA County, to encourage them to take advantage of the benefits that they're entitled to, as well as look at some external issues as well. I think part of what we looked at was the peer support, mental health, collaboration, suicide, women veterans. Those are all kind of elements that we also got the word out about through these various campaign elements. So July, September, October, we had a series of radio and television buys, as well as a lot of content social media pushes. We did a number of 30-second and 15-second commercials on Power 106, as well as a couple interviews. Over 6 million impressions delivered through that push. K-Day, same thing. A couple interviews as well, and about 3.6 million impressions delivered. With KLOS, same thing, 2 interviews and close to 6 million impressions. KABC, we did 6 30-minute show segments airing on Saturday mornings, and that's where we kind of got into, really focusing on VSO services, but also getting into some of the other elements like women vets and other veteran issues, and close to 2 million impressions delivered through that work. Looking into the social media, Power 106 had close to, I won't read it all, but had some good numbers with Instagram and not so much with Facebook. And here's K-Day stats along with some examples. KLOS. And here's some overall performance stats with the campaign. This shows for the month of October through the first week of November. With a steady increase, we really kind of ramped up the ads as we went along during this period. So it makes sense that the week of Veterans Day or the week before Veterans Day, we had the most. And here's some more Facebook performance. And so everything directed interested parties to our landing page, youservedyouearn.com. This is what it looked like. This is what they had to put in order to have their information come over to us as a referral. As a result of that, we had 561 generated inquiries related to benefits or related to services. Sometimes it was a referral to CalVet, but really appreciate our partners on VPN for helping us streamline all this so that we were getting back to people as quick as possible. So we couldn't have done that without our partners over at DMH with VPN. With KDOC, here's some more. We had a shift midway. KLOS was bought out, so we had to switch over to KDOC. And this is a little bit of data from our work with KDOC. And then in November, we had a interview with KTLA, LA Unscripted. And this is some of the stats related to that. We spoke a little bit about, if you haven't been able to see it, we spoke a little bit about the PACT Act and just issues of outreaching to veterans to get the benefits that they earn and some of the related stigma around reaching out for help and pursuing the benefits that veterans have earned. And here's the mid-campaign summary report for each of those stations. So a little bit over 20 million total impressions. And Maria Millette, she is the consultant that our department used to execute this campaign, and really appreciate her and Flex Media for their hard work. They took a limited budget and obviously came up with a lot of good outreach in which we were able to get the message out quite a bit. Legislative updates. I'm gonna pull those up real quick. A lot of legislation coming down the pipe. Really appreciate our partners over at DAV. I think Mr. Valdez is on the call. Really appreciate all the updates that you continually send us. Let's see. All right, I'm going to go ahead and skip that for now until I can find it. Update on CalVet CVHI. If you haven't heard of the California Veteran Health Initiative, it's $50 million that were set aside by the state of California to address veteran suicide. 5 million of it is intended for outreach and education. 40 million is for outpatient mental health, and the last 5 million is for surveillance. A lot of the work that the state is setting out to do, we've already made some progress as a county here in LA around the Veteran Suicide Review Team. That is the premier surveillance programming. So we have a lot to offer the state. Had a really good conversation with Mr. Keith Boylan and Mr. Roberto Herrera from CalVet, who came down and had a conversation with myself about a week and a half ago. And those solicitations are going to come out early next year, and looking forward to partnering with CalVet to really help shape that programming, given our experience with VPAN and VSRT in the county, and really kind of getting the great work that we're doing here in the county out to other counties, and as well as drawing down some resources to expand programming here in LA. Yeah, I guess I'll move. I can't find the legislative updates, so I'll have to send those around after the meeting. But the last piece, 100-day recap. My last day of the first 100 days was December 6th. We really achieved a lot as a department in a small period of time. I've personally asked a lot of the staff in the first 100 days. So appreciate everybody from my team that has really stepped up and taken initiative and really embraced change. Change is not easy. So a little bit of the background. So our department has 45 budgeted positions, and we consist of 3 different divisions. We have the building division, veteran services, and the administration divisions. Bob Hope Patriotic Hall is the last county veteran memorial building in the entire country, and is run by our building manager and 2 additional staff. Custodial and security staff are contracted and are instrumental in the upkeep of the building. Veteran services who are accredited by both the National Association of County VSOs or County Veteran Service Officers and the California Association, the California Department of Veteran Affairs. Our accredited representatives are unique in that they can process both state and federal benefits, which other accredited representatives are not unless they are CalVet employees. The administrative division consists of the director, chief deputy director, and various administrative support staff. The division is responsible for planning and conducting events, policy recommendations to the board, human resource and finance function, strategic collaboration with other county departments, and various chief executive office initiatives. During the first 100 days, I was appointed as a director by the board on August 29th. The department opened access to the basketball court to the public immediately. In addition, I met with individual staff throughout the first 100 days. These meetings allowed me to gain insight into the staff's professional goals, needs, and ideas to improve our services. The insight gained helped create immediate action items to improve processes and ensure staff had what they needed from the department to succeed. My department priorities for the first 100 days have been hiring on all our current vacancies. We have 13 to date. Opening access to Bob Hope Patriotic Hall and create a plan to reopen 5 days a week. Conduct at least 10 events to engage the community and engage stakeholders. Engage and explore potential partnerships with county, state, and federal partners to promote board priorities, i.e. expanded access for homeless services countywide, reducing veterans isolation and suicide, and increasing opportunities to engaging transition service members, active reserve component, and veterans upstream through employment, benefits, and social connection. Create and invest in a strong partnership with CEO Legislative Affairs to promote sound legislation recommendations for board consideration and engage elected officials. Strengthen communication and collaboration with our building tenants through monthly team building potlucks and a holiday party. Participate and provide leadership as a member of the California Association of County Veteran Service Officers. Meet and learn from all department staff to identify unmet needs and opportunities to improve employee morale and operations. And last, set universal expectations around performance and collaboration with staff while holding staff accountable. There's been significant progress in all priorities. I have observed increased staff buy-in throughout the first 100 days, evidenced by increased initiative on projects, direct communication, and feedback from partner agency department staff. Staff buy-in will continue to be monitored and be intentional focus as the department moves into the calendar year 2023. Our future priorities and core mission. The department's core mission will continue as described in the background section. The department will engage in assessing and revamping the mission and vision statement. The department is focusing on improving customer service, access, and communication, and has begun to engage with the CEO Poverty Alleviation Initiative to partner and participate in their work around improving customer experience access services with MVA. Future priorities will be to continue engaging with various stakeholders, including the LA County Veteran Advisory Commission, to gather community perspectives regarding needs. Additionally, the department will continue reviewing the county strategic plan and board priorities to assure alignment as we develop a departmental strategic plan. Current future priorities include building a parking structure and housing at Bob Hope Patriotic Hall, establishing veteran services at the Santa Clarita Art and Veteran Center, expanding access to VA healthcare and benefits through integration with county veteran resources with an emphasis on areas without local geographic access, specialized outreach to women, LGBTQ, and minority veteran subpopulations, exploring expanding services to our aging veteran population with the LA County Department of Aging and Disability, increasing the use and the number of visitors of Bob Hope Patriotic Hall by the military and veteran community, ongoing close communication with CEO Legislative Affairs to track and make recommendations on legislation, as well as increased communication and collaboration with city government. Increased participation in homeless initiatives with relative county departments, VA, and city to increase access and interagency collaboration. Ongoing participation with LA County Department of Mental Health, Office of Violence Prevention, Department of Public Health, VA Vision 22, and the Department of Medical Examiner Coroner with the Veteran Suicide Review Team to reduce veteran suicide in LA County. Build and expand the county's relationship with CDVA CalVet to expand collaboration through the California Veteran Health Initiative to address veteran suicide. Work closely with LA County Department of Public Social Services to increase reach to low-income veterans. Continue to focus on streamlining services in partnership with LA County Department of Mental Health, Veteran Peer Access Network, an intentional focus on supporting county staff that are veterans, active reserve or National Guard, and their family members through collaboration with other county departments. Working closely with Department of Human Resources and LA County Department of Economic Opportunity to create more economic opportunities through employment and small business for veterans, transitioning service members, active reserve and National Guard, and their spouses. Continue to explore options to prevent hospitalization, justice involvement, homelessness, and suicide by investing in solutions upstream that promote well-being and successful transition out of the military. The department will reopen Bob Hope Patriotic Hall a full 5 days a week, beginning January 9th, 2023. The schedule will be as follows: Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Wednesday, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Given that many of our veterans and their families work and cannot afford to take time off to participate in our events during regular business hours, or play basketball or receive services, we will be open until 9 p.m. every Wednesday to create a consistent day of the week for the sake of the community and organizations that want to use the hall to meet. We are currently working with the board, CEO, real estate, and county council to explore renting out the hall to the public. Revenue would offset building costs while bringing awareness to Patriotic Hall and our department. Veterans and veteran serving organizations would not have to pay for one-time use of the space, as the department wants to continue being a place to support VSOs, community partners, and the well-being of those we serve. As of January 23rd, 2023, the department will be fully back in person. We will continue to do virtual claims, but from our scheduled locations. It was not an easy decision for me, but as I looked over the last several years of productivity as a department, we are not performing as we were before we converted to telework. Prior to the pandemic, we were filing over 10,000 claims a year. Since the pandemic, we have dropped to approximately 8,000. In addition, I've also heard from the community that they would like more in-person availability. Lastly, post-pandemic illness of staff and families have left divisions critically low. The staff continues to charge forward through changes in personnel and processes. Most of our staff, if not all of our staff, wear many hats. That's part of being a small department. While enduring the stress of coordinating events, ensuring the building is safe and secure, the department's IT and administrative needs are met, and most importantly, our veterans and loss survivors receive quality service. Chief Deputy Stone and I are committed to taking care of our staff and looking for ways to better support our team as we continue to move forward as a department, and appreciate all the support from our Veteran Advisory Commission, fellow county departments, CEO, and the board in making the first 100 days a great start on our long-term journey to continually do better for military and veteran community here in Los Angeles County. Chairman, that concludes my report, and I will make sure to send this information through Stephanie to the commission. And I'm not sure if anybody has any, if there's time for questions, but I'm available for any questions.
Thanks, Director Zenner. Yeah, I was going to follow up with a couple questions. I mean, you mentioned that claims would be back in person. With respect to the commission and the commission meetings, yeah, I don't think the commissioners, I don't think we've discussed in public forum what our intent is moving forward, or what the Board of Supervisors will require. You know, I'll just state my personal preference. I mean, I think meeting in a virtual environment is a good thing. It allows more members of the public to participate. You know, that may not be our choice. We may have to, given Brown Act considerations, but as long as we can meet in a virtual environment, I think we should do so. You know, if we move back to in-person, I can't underscore, you know, and again, this is just my personal opinion, the importance of being able to stream the content of these meetings to make them accessible to the public. So, I mean, commissioners, do you have any input or preferences with regard to how we continue to meet in the future? Commissioner?
No.
This is- Go ahead.
Hey, Chairman, no preference for me. I'm good either way.
Okay.
Commissioner Jackson Kelly, I prefer in person.
In person? Okay. Commissioner Noyola, you have your hand raised. It's very kind of you.
Yes, thank you very much. I think that that may not be a decision for us to be able to make at some point based on once the governor lifts the state of emergency, that we will likely have to go back in person. I think that's going to happen by the end of February. So between now and February, we may continue to meet virtually, but after that, if plans haven't already been made for us to start meeting in person, we probably ought to be doing that.
Commissioner Gutierrez, did you have anything to add?
No, I'm good either way.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah, I to your point, Commissioner, it may not be our choice. You know, it's something that we've been meeting in a virtual environment due to the public health emergency. If we start planning for in-person, the only thing I would underscore to the department is the importance of being able to stream our content so that the public can participate. You know, if you know, Commissioner Gutierrez and, you know, I know Commissioner Anderson always brings this up, but, you know, SD5 is a long way away from Patriotic Hall. And if we're not providing that streaming capability, you know, I think we're doing a disservice to the public. So that's the only thing I would just, for the purposes of the Veterans Advisory Commission, once we go back to in-person, just being able to allow a hybrid environment where people can provide public comment virtually if they so choose.
Yeah, I'll just say, Chair, that you have a commitment from our department to work out the streaming process. We will, at a minimum, stream. Also, we're open to looking at public comment through telephone. I know that's something that's done by the board, but we can also look into that. But I will commit and be ready if we do go back in person in March to make sure that we're streaming.
Great. Any other commissioners have questions, thoughts for the Director.
I do,
Commissioner
Chairman.
Leal, I think that was you. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Excuse me, I'm having throat issues right now, but for Director Zenner, I was looking at your slides regarding all the amazing work that you're doing to try to reach that demographic that you mentioned. Have you considered pulling articles from like the American Legion magazine, the VFW magazine, possibly maybe Army Times or Air Time, Airman Times, something like that? I've always wanted to see, and maybe it has happened in the past, but I've always wanted to see. I do get the American Legion magazine and all that as a member, and I'm look at the articles and I look at everything. But it'd be really nice to see something that weighs in what Bob Hope is doing for LA County. That's one recommendation. I mean, well, that's something that hopefully in the future we'd be able to see. Thank you for sharing the information regarding the VA and the housing. I immediately shared that with the Veteran Peer Access Network, and I'm here to tell you, Mr. Zenner, that it's actually working. We were actually placing veterans, and it was a no question asked. It was, you know what, just send them. Just send everything you got, which is very unique that it's happening, which is a really good thing. So thank you for pushing that out. That information just didn't sit there. It actually got pushed out to the masses. I guess when we get to the point, we're talking about this homelessness and all these efforts and the new mayor. I would ask, and I don't think this is the right time to say it, but I want to say it so that I don't forget. But it'd be really nice to get the representative, I believe his name is Larry, from the mayor's office to talk to us. If we could come on a next meeting for January, and talk to us about, the efforts that the mayor is doing from LA, from his perspective, and how we can support them and vice versa. But that would be really nice to hear from somebody from the city. I know that she's already doing great things, but thank you very much for hearing me out. And that was a great presentation. So thank you, Mr. Zenner.
You bet, Commissioner. And yeah, I mean, that's good advice. Right now, where we're at as a department is we want to make sure that we're answering our phones. We want to make sure that we're able to make and honor all the appointments that are made with us. And then once we get to that point and we're good, and obviously we're going to go through a lot of change with feeling Mr. George Dixon's absence. So there's going to be a little bit more transition for us. But once we're on solid ground, we definitely plan on getting the word out through more channels. And those are great suggestions with the VSO and Military Times angle. And we will definitely take that in consideration and leverage that.
Any other commissioners have questions of the department?
This Commissioner Gutierrez, I just want to thank the director for the report. It's obvious that there's a lot of activity going on in the building. There's definitely a buzz you can feel when you're in there. The one question I did have was there's a statue on the second floor. Where did that come from?
Yeah, great question. And I definitely should have added that in the report. So thank you for bringing that up, Commissioner. So General George Washington was at the Grand Park during the civil unrest. The statue was vandalized. It was placed into storage and restored by LA County Department of Arts and Culture. The board wanted the statue placed in Bob Hope for obvious reasons. And it has been restored. It's a beautiful bronze statue. It was placed in the Lincoln Room in the far back corner. And next steps is really working with arts and culture to convene veteran stakeholders to get opinions on what would go on the plaque. So that's the next step in that. I have encouraged arts and culture to allow our department to guide the stakeholder process, since we know the veteran and military community better than any other department. And so I will be starting with the commission So I will be bringing that stakeholder engagement to this commission first before extending out to other stakeholders. But more to be followed on that, and thank you for bringing that up.
Thanks, Director. It's a really impressive statue. So.
Okay. Any final thoughts, commissioners, for the department?
Yeah, if I could just add something, Anthony, I ran into former Chairman Tom Lasser at the third Space Force celebration, third birthday for the Space Force celebration yesterday on LA Air Force Base, and some of the feedback that he was giving me has I've gotten from this commission, and I got to tell you, it's one of the most rewarding parts of my job is to know that we're honoring the feedback from our veterans that have been in LA County for 40, 50 years, post-military service, through our continued work. I mean, obviously, Tom has had conversations with several commissioners that are currently serving. And, that feedback is funneling through our veterans that have really kind of been at it for several decades here in LA County. And clearly, some of their wishes and some of their visions and feedback are being incorporated in the work that we are doing together as a department and commission. So I just want to tell you all how grateful I am for that. I never want to forget our veterans that came before us, and I don't think any of you do either. And I think the partnership between the department and this commission is great. I think we're getting a lot of good feedback from the community, and it's getting through this commission and to the department. So thank you all, and thank you for the recommendation. I want to let you know that the board offices and myself take that recommendation and future recommendations very serious. So the work that gets put into that is definitely valuable in considering and looking at forming new services or adapting current services to best meet the needs of our community.
Great. Thank you, Director. And I believe we'll move on to agenda item 8. We won't spend too much time on this. We have a full deck. This is definitely something that will set us up for at least a month or, 2, maybe 3 months into the future. These are all the outstanding topics that we've requested. I'll get into this into the good of the order, but this is my last meeting as chair. I will still be commissioner, but I will no longer be sort of in charge of the administrative tasks with regard to scheduling and determining the moving forward, other than this opportunity here. But are there any other commissioners that wish to add anything? I would say this is a pretty full plate. If you see your name next to a topic, please be sure to make a point of contact introduction to Stephanie so that the department can help schedule these briefings.
Thank you, Commissioner Allman. I want to say it has really been a pleasure working with you as the chair of this commission. You've taken us to some untraveled territory, and I think that we've been successful in what we've done. I think we've received more recognition, and I want to thank you for that. And Director Zenner, it has been my pleasure really coming to Patriotic Hall and feeling like that's where I'm supposed to be. Thank you so much. And to everyone, please have a safe holiday. And unfortunately, I have to leave.
Well, thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate the kind words. It's been a pleasure working with you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. And we'll miss you for the final 10, 15 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you again. I appreciate it.
Chairman, this is Commissioner Joe. I'm going to echo. Thank you. Thank you very much. But I'm glad you're not leaving us, because we're definitely going to lean on you. But you've done a great job, sir. I definitely appreciate your leadership. And when it comes to Jim and the staff there at MVA, I don't know about you guys, but they really make you feel like it's for us, like it's our home. They really make it feel like we're VIPs. I've seen veterans walk in there and they get amazing treatment from the moment they walk in, and they're leaving a lasting impression. That word of mouth is really what is beneficial to get other veterans to go into Patriotic Hall. And you'd mentioned earlier, Mr. Zenner, excuse me, Director Zenner, that we had a very impressive event recently, and your staff was just amazing. Just to see them, just to be cordial, just to make us feel welcomed. But what makes me very, very happy, Director, is that for those 700 plus attendees, they now know what Patriotic Hall is. They've seen it, they witnessed it, they walked it. You conveyed the message very well, and when you speak, you're representing quite a bit of people. You're representing the agency, you're representing commissioners and the veterans, and you did such a great job. But you came from the perspective of a human standpoint, from somebody that actually cares. You take the time to speak to people, you take the time to listen to them, and you didn't leave. You stood there till the end of everything. And you're picking up trash, you're doing everything. And I watched you and I saw what you were doing. And I just want to thank you for being just so real and just being approachable, being very caring. And no matter how busy you are, you still take the time to listen to people. And when you add that with an amazing chairman, that unfortunately it's his last month, it just feels really good to be a part of this team. So I want to thank all of you for just, being open-minded and pursuing all the suggestions that we have. So that's pretty much what I got. Now, when it comes to meetings for the future, like I mentioned earlier, Chairman, I would like to see a presentation come from the city of LA, the appointed veteran rep for the city of LA, just to tell us the great things that they're doing regarding veterans and homelessness and how we can support them. That's pretty much what I got.
Okay, thank you. Any other commissioners have potential items for future meetings? Okay, hearing none, we'll go to the next item. Go to the order. Commissioner Leal, back to you.
Yeah, just basically what I conveyed. I don't want to add to that, but again, thank you. It's been a pleasure, sir. But that's pretty much my piece. Thank you for listening, sir.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Jackson Kelly, I believe you have departed us or our commission meeting. Commissioner McFadden, are you still with us?
I'm still here, just echoing what everyone else has said. It's been an amazing year, an adventurous year, lots of changes and more to come as we go into 2023. So thank you for your leadership, your insight, strong voice, which is always really helpful as we kind of navigate where we are and making our presence known and our visibility. So I appreciate everyone's efforts and look forward to doing more partnership in the coming years.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner. For my part, I just wanted to, touch on three, I think, big items. One, when I took on this role, I thought it was very important to ensure that we were communicating these meetings through the departmental mailing list, through GovDelivery. And I think that's important because we're trying to reach the broadest audience possible. And the department, has done a very good job of broadcasting our meetings to the mailing list. I think there's some tweaks that we can do to the website to make it a little bit more accessible, and we're working on that. That's a work in progress with the department and the county's ISD department, but it's happening. And so people will be notified about these commission meetings. They will have an opportunity to provide public comment, and I think that public comment can help influence our discussions as a commission, which is the way it should work. The other thing I wanted to mention, this year we enacted our first set of bylaws, which is incredible. I mean, that took a few meetings, but I think we came together as a commission and hammered out how we want this commission to move, both in terms of succession planning, right? So every year we'll rotate leadership to each supervisoral district. It allows every SD to lead the way and to advocate for veterans in their community. And finally, we adopted our very first recommendation to the Board of Supervisors. And that, I think, is something that we should all celebrate. As I mentioned before during the discussion, it may not have been the number one most pressing public policy agenda item for veterans, but it really proved, I think, our ability to come together, collaborate, discuss, come to a common understanding, make a decision, and convey our desires to the Board of Supervisors. And based off of Director Zenner's report back to us, our voice is heard. The process is working as it was intended. And that's a beautiful thing. And we should all be very proud of that. So I really appreciate everyone's cooperation, all my emails, everyone's, take and input into what we're doing. It's a collaborative process, and I'm very thankful to be working with all of you. I will hand it over to Commissioner Zato. Commissioner, do you have any items for good of the order?
Not that much. Just want to reiterate, just grateful for your leadership and for Director Zenner. We were lucky to sneak out to Pico, meet the mayor and the sheriff, and Director Zenner was there for a Toys for Tots giveaway. Last week, so that was a nice little event. I'm looking forward to linking up with Commissioner Noyola and just chatting about our district, since I'm only got a few months on him as commissioner, and kind of discussing how we want to work the district. Just moving forward, I think just to kind of reiterate what Commissioner Leal said, there's a lot of movement on homelessness around the country, around the state, around the city. And I think, I know that the Judge Carter recently wanted the settlement from the LA County with the LA Alliance for Homelessness. That hasn't been completely settled yet, but learning from the director and the county about how some of these settlements and funds are going to affect veterans here in Los Angeles. I think that these are things that, like I said, at the state level and with the president putting more emphasis on homelessness, it would be good to kind of know what's going on in parallel to things that we're trying to accomplish. Just something to keep in the back of the mind of hey, what is physically happening at the county level, and what support are they getting what are they getting out of the pie, or what is Director Zenner getting out of the pie from all these settlements and focuses on homelessness. But that's it. Just like I said, just excited to continue our work next year and see what else we can get accomplished.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner. Director, correct me if I'm wrong, but SD4 will be the chair of the Board of Supervisors, correct? Supervisor.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, one piece I forgot on my report, and probably it is a very important piece, is that Supervisor Janice Hahn is now the chair. She is chair for the board for the next year. So it would be SD4 is next in the rotation to chair the commission based on the bylaws.
That's right. So that's a warning order to SD4 for our next meeting to determine who would like to be chair and vice chair. So I'll, Commissioner Noyola, were you confirmed? Maybe I missed an administrative email. Do you have the floor at this point?
Yes, he does. I forgot to, if I didn't mention it when I introduced Commissioner Al Noyola, he does. Yeah, it was finalized literally, I think, today or the day before, but yeah, just after.
Sorry,
so.
I didn't get the memo, but I did hear the introduction, so I figured something became official. So, Commissioner, this is your first go to the order. Welcome, finally, and anything you'd like to say?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Director, and the rest of the commission. It's great. It's an honor to be part of this group, and I'm very humbled at the opportunity to continue my public service in any way that I can, and specifically addressing issues relating to veterans families as we move forward. Not a whole lot. I'm learning a lot just by listening in on the meetings, the last couple plus today. And I think after the holidays, I'll be ready to give it my all as we move forward together for the good of this community.
Great. Well, now that you're officially on the commission, I guess you, Commissioner Zato, can arm wrestle for chair.
I don't think that's going to be an arm wrestle at all. You can do it.
Commissioner Gutierrez, you're up.
Yeah, the same as the rest of the commission. Thank you, Chair, for all your leadership, time, and effort. It's really been a pleasure being a part of this commission with you. You've made it pretty easy. So I hope some big shoes for the next chair to fill. But again, it's been a pleasure. I look forward to what we're going to do next year. And I'm excited for the direction that this board is going in. For everyone else, happy holidays. I'm looking forward to next year and seeing everybody back at the next meeting. So thank you.
Great. Well, this is an Uber. I would say please rate 5 stars for my chairmanship, and I wish Commissioner Zato and Commissioner Noyola the best in fiscal year 20, or the county is in fiscal year 23, but in calendar year 23. So I appreciate that. I don't believe Commissioner Anderson is with us. Nope. Okay. So with that, we'll move to agenda item 10, which is, drum roll, adjournment. So thank you, everyone. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. It's been a pleasure serving the commission as chair again, and we will pick up our next official meeting on January 3rd and our first special meeting according to the bylaws. As a reminder, our regular meetings will be the 3rd Wednesday of every month. We're doing an out-of-cycle meeting to talk with Metro regarding the art project at VA West LA. So be on the lookout for notice of meeting. And again, everyone, happy holidays out here.
Thanks, everyone.
Happy holidays.